Hi everyone, welcome to our show this week. Arne Foss hails from Norway and is a very well-known, bubbly and much-loved personality in the pedigree dog world, having been involved with pedigree dogs since the age of 15. Originally starting with Dalmatians, later Whippets, Lagottos, Great Danes, and more recently the Norsk Lundehund, a native Norwegian rare breed. We get up close and personal with Arne, talking about dogs and specifically about giant breeds and native breed preservation of the Norsk Lundehund. Hello, Arne, how are you?
Hello, Gopi. I'm fine, thank you.
Good
From
to see
winterly
you.
Norway. It's very cold today.
What's the temperature?
Now -5.
Wow,
Minus
okay,
5 degrees. Yeah, so it's
we're 32. We're
yeah.
32.
Oh.
Time for you to come back to KL.
Yes, I would love to be there.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to jump straight into some of the interview questions, Arne, so we can get as much time as possible with you.
Yeah.
You're an extremely well-known breeder and much sought-after judge. But for the benefit of maybe those who don't know about you, if you could just tell us a little bit about how you got involved in pedigree dogs and just a brief your involvement.
Yes, I would love to do that. And I was not that fortunate. I was not born into it. So I was not even allowed to have my own animal. And I was the only one in the class without any animal at all. So, but when I was 15, I was allowed to have my first dog, and that was a Dalmatian.
Okay.
So I'm quite sure I'm born with this passion. My first dog was not exactly a show dog, but his name was Paper, and his pedigree name was Stocklias Paper Moon, and that's why my kennel prefix is Paper Moon. So he was a very, very nice dog, but he was only 3 years old when he died because of he was sick. So that was the beginning. But after that, I was really lucky to have a female. She went to be an international champion, and she was my first brood bitch, and that was the beginning. And that was back in 1977. So I have more than 40 years now in dogdom, and since 1990 I got my first Whippet, and so that's my two main breeds.
And can I just ask you, when you first started, obviously you had, you were a young guy starting in dogs. Were there a lot of people that were very helpful and that, took you under their wings and mentored you?
Yes, absolutely. In Dalmatians, I had the breeder of my first female, Helle Høie Kennel Spotnik, is world famous in the breed. She did help me a lot, and she was a great mentor. And also in Whippets, I have had a lot of mentors, and I bought my first from Nenne Rundsten, a very famous breeder and judge, Kennel Airscott. She lived in Norway at that time, but now she lives in Sweden, and she has been really a great help. And my first Whippet brood bitch came from England, from Kennel Hubbestad, and they have been fantastic.
Wow,
So
wow.
that was the beginning. Yeah.
Fabulous.
And
I had a few other breeds in between. Can you tell us if you had Lagottos, you had Chihuahuas? Were they just, for showing rather than breeding? Or did you breed those?
Yeah. I've been very involved in different parts of the dogdom, and I've been very active as a ring steward and taking part in some committees, and I've been in the judge educational committee for many years, and I think more than breeding, but I like to breed also, but I have not had time and possibility to have so many litters that I want to have.
And what breeds are you actively involved with now?
Nowadays at home I have 2 Whippets. I have a Shar-Pei from Greece. She's a lovely, lovely, lovely Shar-Pei. And I have one Norwegian Lundehund. So I have only 4 dogs at home. And I also co-own Great Danes and Chihuahuas. They are living with my friend and kennel partner.
Okay, and so the Great Dane. I'm going to come to the Great Danes in a minute. But could you just tell us, like, I know you said you haven't bred that much, but you have had a fair amount of success, Dog of the Year, that sort of thing. Can you tell us some of your better known dogs, the most popular ones or the most famous ones that you had a lot of wins with?
Mm-hmm. In Dalmatian, it was a female that I co-owned with Kennel Spotnik. It was Perdita's Kiss Me Better. She was top winning Dalmatian in Norway for many, many years. And she was runner-up Dog of the Year in Norway in 1998. And she was a great brood bitch as well. And she had a lot of nice puppies that I exported to New Zealand and Kazakhstan and several other countries. So she was quite successful. And then the Whippet, who was Dog of the Year in Norway, all breeds in 2000, Paper Moon's Parisian maiden. And she was a daughter of Hubbestad Dutch maid, and she was a daughter of Penclow Dutch Gold, who was the best in show winner at Crufts. So she had a beautiful pedigree, and I mated her to an American dog, Paris Panther, and I got the most successful litter I have ever had. They were 5 out of 6 were champions, so that was good. And then my Great Dane, a blue male, was world winner in Amsterdam. So yeah, there's some good results.
Okay. You mentioned your kennel partner. Do you all make the decisions about breeding jointly, or and do you always agree?
Oh yes, I think more or less, but I have she decides about the Great Danes mostly, but we always discuss, and we really always agree about what we will do. But she is very passionate about her Great Danes, and I support her, and she supports me with the Whippets and the Lundehund. So it's worked out very well.
And just talking about Great Danes, obviously breeding giant breeds is something completely different. It's a different concept because of the shorter lifespan. Is that something you would agree with, that there's a lot more decisions that have to be made or done differently because of the shorter lifespan?
Yes, it is really a problem. I think it's the breed's most important thing to discuss and to think about when breeding the Great Danes. And I think it's better now than a few years ago. There's more focus on it, and try to use older stud dogs in the breeding. And we will have a litter now in the beginning of next year, and we are using a male in Sweden that is close to 9 years old. And that we use because of that. It's so important to have more focus on it, because there are very few in the veteran class in that breed, so it's really a problem that they are dying with between 6 and 8 years old. It's very sad.
Is there a lot of reliance on artificial insemination, frozen semen? Do they use it a lot in Great Danes because of the lifespan issue?
And I think it will be important to do that even more. So, and now because of the corona, we are not allowed to travel as much. So we cannot even go to Sweden to breed the dog now. So we are using semen from him now after Christmas.
But
so we will get it from Sweden.
But with like frozen semen, is there a lot of frozen semen used in Great Danes because of the life expectancy?
No, I don't think it's not more than in any other breeds, but But of course, it's not easy to travel with the Great Dane. You cannot go in plane, so very difficult to travel for long distances. So to use semen, frozen semen is very, very useful.
And the success rate, is it normal, or is there any issues with the success rate?
Yeah, it's normal, I think. Yeah, we have done it once from a male from Denmark, and we got I think a litter of 5 or something. So that was okay. But I have used that in Whippets many times, and my biggest litters ever with 9 puppies, they were from frozen semen. So.
Oh wow! Okay. And obviously, Norway veterinary science is quite advanced, and being able to have vets that know how to do frozen semen procedures and all that helps greatly. Are there many vets there that do it, or is it the university, or where is it done?
We are so lucky that we are living in Trondheim in the middle of Norway, and I think the most clever one is living here in Trondheim. So we have been very, very lucky with that. But in general, Norway or the Scandinavian countries are quite good with that.
And do you think that
compared to sorry?
And the way things are going, do you think that the use of frozen semen is important in many breeds, because then you can do breedings of grandfather, granddaughter, especially in giant breeds, where the grandfather may not be alive when the granddaughter is of breeding age, that sort of thing.
Correct. So it's very important, and that's the future, of course. I'm quite sure.
Okay, excellent. Where are we? Okay. Do you share the view that some people feel that you should not breed from a dog that's already dead, with frozen semen, because it's going against, what's natural, or do you think that we have to move with the times and use science on our side?
Oh yes, absolutely. I absolutely have no worries about that. To use dogs that have been dead for a long time could be very useful, and that is our future for sure. Yeah.
Excellent. The Norwegians as a race of people, they're numerically fairly small, but the pedigree dog game is so strong in Norway, with some of the best judges and breeders in many breeds. What do you think contributes to this? What connects Norwegians with pedigree dogs so strongly?
Yes, that's an interesting question, I think, and in general we are an animal-loving country, and the sport of dog is it's for everyone. I think that's the most important thing, that it's not a high-class sport for the upper class. It's all kind of people are in the dogdom here in Norway, and we have no professional handlers. People are showing their dogs themselves. Nearly all my friends who is not really active in dogs, but they just have one dog, all of them have been to a dog show because it's a normal thing to do, and we love to go to walk our dogs in the forest, up in the mountains. We have a lot of space, so we love to be outside, skiing in the winter, walking in the summer. So we are, I think we are a dog-loving country, and all the Nordic countries are the same. So I think both Sweden and Finland, they are maybe even bigger and clever than us, but we are also quite okay. But in general, the Nordic countries are very, we like dogs, and we respect them and we treat them well.
Yes, and I mean, especially pedigree dogs, we see that there's a lot of dedication to pedigree dogs. A majority of these dogs, are they worked? Like, I mean, people hunt there, so the majority of dogs, people have them because they're actually trained to help and work and things like that?
Oh yes, there are still a lot of hunters in Norway, especially gun dogs.
Yes.
The Group 7 dogs are very popular as hunters, not as show dogs as much, as may you have seen when you have been in the Nordic countries. They look a little bit different than the show dogs in Group 7. And also elk hounds are very, very popular. The elk hound sport is huge in Norway. We have a lot of our own breeds, Norwegian elk hound, gray and black, and so they are very popular hunters, and also scent hounds for hunting hares.
Okay. Do you think the sport of pedigree dogs is growing in Norway? Is it on the increase or not?
It's quite stable the last years. So also the numbers going to shows are going a little bit up and down, and the registrations are also quite stable. But we also have the problem with designer breeds and a lot of puppies born without pedigrees, of course. That's an increasing problem.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. I thought you guys would be more traditional and not opt for all these funny things that
No, these mongrels are sold for a huge amount of money. They are a pedigree dog is cheaper now compared to many of these designer breeds, multi-poo and cockapoo and everything. So that's a very sad story, I think.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about Lundehund. Could you, for the benefit of our viewers who may not know, could you tell us a little bit about this breed, please? It's a very interesting breed, a native breed in Norway. If you could just tell us a little bit about them, that'd be wonderful.
I would love to do that because it's really my passion. I have only one, and she's only 9 months old, but I have been talking about it for 25 years to get my first Lundehund, and now it was time before I get too old. It's a lovely breed, and it's not very much known outside Norway. We have a few breeders in the United States, and some good ones in the Netherlands and France and Germany, and otherwise it's only in the Nordic countries. And after the Second World War, they were nearly they were not, people thought they were not existing anymore. And in fact, all dogs today comes from only 4 different dogs. There are only 4 who have contributed to the stock we have now. Only 4 dogs, so they are very, very inbred, and that's a problem. And they look very much the same, all of them. They are very, very homogeneous in type because of that, of course, but it also creates some problems. So nowadays we are very, very keen to not breed them too tight. It's very important to use dogs that are not too close related, and that's a problem with a very small gene pool.
If I may ask you some questions. You said that they were at one stage almost extinct, and that was what I also got in my research. Why were they not popular? Why did they get to the stage that they were not popular anymore?
In the beginning, they were only known in the northern parts of Norway, and they were used as hunters for catching the puffin up in the mountains of the north of Norway. And they were very important for the farmers because they had, the times were not so good and they don't have a lot of money. So to sell these puffins was very important for them. But then the puffin went down in numbers, so they are not allowed anymore to hunt for them, and that was not so good for the breed, of course. And then you have this problem around the Second World War that got a lot of diseases, and the distemper so a lot of dogs died. So in the end, it was only 4 left. So it's a very dramatic story for the breed. But the numbers now are going up, and it's about 100 puppies born in Norway every year. So I think the future looks quite bright. But the problem now is that we have, and the Lundehund Club, they say they want as many possible, both males and females have to be bred. So just to widen the gene pool.
So they were more functional, meaning they were bred to or they were worked to hunt the puffin. Once that were they not kept as pet dogs? What stopped people from just having them as pets? Is it because they're quite primitive in that way, that they don't make good pets, or what was the reason?
They also are very good pets, and they were used as pets. They were playing with the children, and they were farm dogs. They were not on a leash, they were walking around as they wanted to, and but they were almost a working dog, but also a very good pet. They are a little bit noisy, so they are when people are coming, they are telling you about that, because it's a group 5 breed and they are quite primitive, and they are so unique. They are so special. They are maybe the most special breed in the whole world, because they have these extra toes on all 4 feet, just to climb the mountains, to go up and down the mountains. It's much easier for them with these extra toes, and they are very flexible, and they can turn around in these small holes in the mountains. So they have to be very flexible, and they should move very, very loose in front. And they should be narrow behind, and their eyes shall not be dark. They should be quite light. They can have a scissor bite or a reverse scissor bite, and they can even be a little bit undershot. It's not a fault. So it's a very unique breed.
And
so
how
I really
back,
love them.
Historically, how far back can you trace them when they were known or recorded as being used for puffin hunting?
They are first mentioned in some books from the 16th century.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a very old breed. From about 1540, it's the oldest thing written about the breed. And a very famous author in Norway, he lived in the 1600. He wrote a poem, and where the Lundehund is mentioned. So they have been around for many, many years.
Does anyone know how they bred the extra toes, front and back, on these dogs? How did that come about? I mean, that's quite extraordinary, because that's not a normal canid. Doesn't have.
It is. So it's nobody knows. But it must be a natural evolution, because they really needed it for the work they were doing. So, and a very good Lundehund could catch about 100 birds during a night. They were usually working in the late evenings and nights, and a good one could catch about 80, 100 just in one night. So they were very, very, very good hunters.
And were they natural hunters, meaning that they didn't need commands to go and do it, or were they worked as a team, like between them and the farmers?
They worked very close with the owner, and they delivered the bird alive. They were not killing it, so it was killed by the owner. And but of course they have to train a little bit, but they were really natural hunters, so they have their instincts very naturally.
Okay, what sort of numbers are we talking globally now, roughly, do you think, of the Lundehund? How many do you think are around?
800, 900 dogs, I think, all over the world.
Yeah, that's not a lot.
I think we are quite close to 1,000. So.
And when you got down to just the 4, there was, my research, some said that they actually crossbred them with other breeds to get some genetic diversity. Did that happen?
Yes, it's a project starting a few years ago, and that's a project both with the Lundehund Club and Norwegian Kennel Club. So they are cooperating to do this, and because the gene pool is so small, and they have a few problems. It's generally a very healthy breed, but we have a few problems with some stomach problems and so that we want to get rid of. And now they have used a few other breeds to try to widen the gene pool. They have used the Norwegian buhund.
Okay.
The Norwegian breed, maybe better known outside Norway. And then they use the Icelandic sheepdog. Okay. And then a Swedish breed called Norrbottenspets. It's like a Finnish Spitz, a quite rare Swedish breed. So they try to use 3 different breeds to try to, And
what's the success rate? I mean, how many times did they outcross them? Or how many times did they breed them, crossbreed them?
They have now come to the 3rd generation, and now they are going back over using Lundehund again. But all these pedigrees, they are not, these dogs are not going to shows. They are not in the breed yet, if I can tell you, so you can understand that these pedigrees are outside the other pedigrees, so they are not. But when after more generations with this outcrosses, maybe we can use a few of them in the breed again. So that's the goal. Yeah.
And this project is I mean, the people overseeing it is the Lundehund Club and the Norwegian Kennel Club. So it's not just anyone can decide to breed what they want to. They're following a plan. I mean, there's a project that they're going behind.
Yes, and people are quite enthusiastic about it, really, because it's about the future of the breed. So, and I support it, and a lot of people do that. So, of course, a few people don't like it because they feel that the breed will not be purebred any longer. But I think it's necessary for the breed to survive in the future.
Okay, and that brings up an interesting question, because they have been crossbred now. How do they look? I mean, what was the? I mean, you said they were so tightly line bred before. They were, but what's been? Can you tell us a little bit about what's come out, the resulting progeny now that they've crossbred them?
Of course, there have been dogs that looks like Lundehund already in the 1st generation, but I have seen a dog now in the 3rd generation, and the most known breeder and judge for the breed in Norway, Kristen Lang, he saw that dog up in the north now this summer, and he said that he looked really like a purebred Lundehund, and that was in the 3rd generation. He couldn't even believe that it was an outcross.
Okay.
With another breed. He had perfect, the dog had perfect toes. He had the typical head, outline, everything was, the tail, everything was like a normal Lundehund, already after 3 generations.
And they hadn't lost any breed traits?
Some of the puppies don't have good toes, and some of them are too big and so on, but we need to keep the best ones, of course, to go further with.
Okay, and is this project, is it like with any of the universities to monitor, to know, to see how pure they are, or things like that?
Yes, they are very, very doing a very serious job with scientific and the clubs and everyone involved. So it's a good project, I think.
Okay, and you mentioned there are breeders in other countries as well outside. Where are they getting the gene pool from? Is it purely from Norway that they're getting the gene
From
pool?
Norway.
Okay.
Yes. Nearly 100%. But some of the breeders now we have a very good breeder in the Netherlands, and she has been breeding for some generations now. But if she will have some new stock, she have to go to Norway. Yeah.
Okay. And is that the reason you got involved for breed preservation?
Yes, I'm so passionate about this breed because it's so unique. As I said, it's the most unique breed in the whole world. So I think we have a responsibility to contribute to help the breed to survive and even to make it more known outside Norway. I think it's very important. Yeah, because it's a very handy size, very good temperament, and they are very easy going. They can run loose without going hunting on their own, and they are just a little bit noisy. That's the only thing I have. They are very, very nice dogs.
And do you think, Arne, that the project to revive this breed is being successful at the moment, with more people being
at the
involved?
moment we can say, but it's too early to say 100% sure, but they are very happy with the results so far.
Okay. Because I mean, breed preservation is something very important. I mean, you mentioned that this breed is mentioned in a poem from the 16th century. So it is a, how much involvement, or when did the Norwegian Kennel Club decide they needed to step in and get involved in rescuing this breed, which was national pride?
We have several. We have 7 Norwegian breeds, and quite a few of them are have the same problem. They are very rare, and they only exist in Norway. We have some scent hounds like the Haldenstøver and Dunker and Hygenhund. They nearly only exist in Norway, and the Kennel Club are doing a great job, I think, in cooperation with the breed clubs to help the breed to survive.
And I mean, their national pride, is just the country, is there, are they known, the Norwegians are educated on this, that it's national pride, and, get one of your national breeds rather than one of these fancy is there much promotion of the Norwegian breed?
They try, but I think they could even be better with that, of course. But they are working quite well, but hopefully they will be even better known.
Okay. Do you think the difficulty is because most of these breeds are hunting breeds, or they're working dogs, and things have changed now, and so that's why they have lost their function, so to speak?
Yes, that's one of the problems, of course. So the Lundehund, they cannot work as a, because the puffin, they cannot be hunted anymore. So, but they can be used on other birds, and I have even heard they can be used as elk hounds. So they can be used, and they are extremely good pets, and can be worked even not with the puffins anymore.
Yeah, so you would agree that breed preservation is still important despite them not having their original function?
Absolutely.
But do you think that's an uphill battle, on when things these days, when you mentioned, as you said, people are interested in cockapoos and all sorts of city mush?
So it's a struggle at the moment, I think, but I'm positive and very optimistic for the future for the Lundehund, because they are slightly increasing in numbers, not too fast, and that's important also. They shouldn't be too popular too fast. So but and we have some good breeders now in Norway. So they are very, very serious, and they are very passionate about the Lundehund. So I'm optimistic.
And are the breeders of the Lundehunds, are they open to sharing the breed with others, or are they, because of the low numbers, are they quite protective of where these dogs go at the moment? Is that
Yes. Yes, it is. So, and it's a long waiting list now for puppies at the moment, and that may be because of the corona. people are buying more puppies than ever, and Lundehund is quite attractive at the moment. So the last time I heard it, it was about 200 people waiting for a puppy for Lundehund.
Okay.
So that is promising, I think.
That's good news for the breed, that it's actually, there are people waiting to buy puppies. I mean, your national breed. And are these mainly people within Norway, or are these people outside the country that are waiting for puppies?
Mainly Norway, but I think the interest from other countries are increasing, but not very fast. But just I have had some interest from other countries, because I'm trying to promote this breed as good as I can in Facebook and other other media, and showing my dog. And so it's a pity now that there are no shows to go abroad. I was planned to show her abroad this in the end of this year, but all shows are cancelled. So
Okay, and
hope.
Sorry. Yes, we're all hopeful of shows coming back again. At the moment, all over the world, it's sort of like a bit of a standstill.
Yeah, that's good.
How many Norwegian breeds are there?
How many breeds in Norway?
Yeah, a Norwegian breeds of dog, pedigree dog.
Yeah, it's 7 different Norwegian breeds.
Okay, and are they registered nationally as like a national heritage or something with the government? Does the government know that these are national breeds? That,
yes, they do. They do.
Yeah.
And we have a bank of a sperm bank for all the Norwegian breeds. So if there are some problems, we can use males that have been dead for 20, 30 years ago.
Wow. And who started this project?
It's cooperation between the Norwegian Kennel Club and the government.
Wow. Okay. And do you think there's enough collaboration between them and kennel clubs to promote national breeds? Do you think there's enough emphasis put on promoting national breeds?
It's never enough, so we always want some more. But I think it's quite good. It helps the breeds, absolutely.
What do you think they could do more to promote national breeds or to preserve national breeds?
Make them even better known by the public. It's a matter of money, of course, and a lot of things, but I think it's okay, but it could always be better.
And do you think generally kennel clubs are doing enough to promote the national breed?
Maybe not enough, but they are doing a good job in the countries I know about, both in Norway and Sweden, and they are very serious about their own breeds, and I think it's super important, absolutely, because it's only the country of origin who should have the responsibility to promote.
I mean, I personally feel, we don't have a national breed, but it's something to feel proud of, and it's something that should be promoted, rather than all these other things, but to put some emphasis on preserving these pedigree dogs. And even beyond the fact that they may not hunt or they may not do these things anymore, but they did at one stage, the preservation of these breeds is vital.
It is, really.
So any last closing words about breed preservation or about stuff like that you'd like to share with us before we wind this up?
No, but I just think it's even the dogs don't have any function anymore. I think they really deserve to have a future. So they can, as the Lundehund, they are they can cope with it without doing the only thing they were doing before. They can live a beautiful life without hunting puffins. So they can be excellent pets and
absolutely, they can
deserve
they can be retrained, and they can still be companions to us.
absolutely without any problems. So they really worth to work with in the future.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. I've had lots of fun talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed being interviewed as well.
It was very nice. Thank you. So I hope people will be more curious about our Norwegian breed, especially the Lundehund, because
yeah, well, let's hope
I just want to show you if you can see the extra toes and her flexibility.
Wow.
In her front legs. That is very typical Lundehund.
Wow, she's gorgeous. She's so cute.
She is. And she's a very nice size. Only 6 kilos, so it's a very handy size too. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Are they good hunters because of the good rackers and things like that, or birds and things?
Yes, they are very good hunters still. I think they have their instincts very clearly, and they love to have things in their mouth. They are they are good retrievers. They are good retrievers. Okay. Absolutely, yeah, and they have a very soft, good mouth.
I think they make good agility dogs, though. These dogs.
They can be, but they are a little bit stubborn. To do agility and obedience, because they are quite stubborn.
Okay.
And I forgot to say they can even close their ears when they go into the holes so they can close their ears in different positions.
Wow. Yeah. But she's quite a rare color. I mean, I have not seen one with that much white. I see them more with brown and sort of like very light white. But
yeah, but she is on the body. She is so they have little different white, but they are in the beginning they were also black and tan, but that has disappeared. So we haven't seen that for maybe 40-50 years. So but we have seen photos from the beginning. They were also black and tan, but no longer existing.
Wow, thank you so much for showing her to us, and we
pleasure.
Wish you and all the Norwegians and all the other Lundehund breeders good luck with this breed in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye bye.